Torah portion, Tzav, we are the fifth portion of the week, chapter 8, verse 14. We continue the inauguration. Inauguration took place, Rosh Chodesh Nisan, the first day of the month of Nisan, of the second year. We started that yesterday. And this is the inauguration of the Kohanim, the priests. So, V'yagesh is parachatas, and V'yagesh means he brought closer. Yeah. And the parachatas, the bull of sin offering, V'yismach Aaron, and he leaned, Aaron uvanav, Aaron and his sons, is Yedehem, their hands, al reish parachatas, on the head of the sin bull offering. Right. This is sort of like one of the ideas of that the bull is in the place of you. As the Ramban explains, that one of the ideas of sacrifices is that really, especially here we're talking about a sin offering, if you did something wrong, so you're the one on the altar, but God says, no, take the animal instead. It's representing the animal soul within us, that tendency within us that brought us to do wrong. So putting your hands on it is sort of like conferring upon it, right? Verse 15, Vayishchat, and he shall slaughter it. Yikach Moshe, right? This is their initiation on the day of inauguration, right? So this is talking about Moshe doing this, right, for the Kohanim to initiate them or inaugurate them on. And so he will slaughter. Moshe will take the blood, and place it on the corners, on the horns of the altar. Right? Place on the corners of the altar, Saviv, around, Betzboy, with his finger, and will purify and cleanse the altar, Bezadam, and the remaining of the blood, Yatzak, he'll pour, El Yesoy, to the foundation HaMizbeach of the altar, Vikachehu, and sanctify it, the altar, the Chaper Alav, to effect atonement upon it. Rashi, in 15, and he cleansed the altar, he cleansed it, and purified it, mizares, from what is alien, the kedusha, to enter into holiness. So what Rashi is teaching over here is that the application of the blood on the altar brings about its purification. And that's why it's called chitui, because the word chitui comes from the chet, which means sin. So it means to cleanse of sin. So that blood that's put on the altar is the purification, brings about its purification. In other words, sometimes we have a word, it's an interesting word over here, because sin is sin and cleansing is the opposite. Sometimes the same word could be used for it and its opposite. Um, so here it is sin and its opposite, right? The cleansing, which is, so that's what Rashi's saying over here. It's cleansed, purified, right? In other words, taking it from the state of sin of that's alien, and to bring it into holiness. The only thing I'm not it's speaking about the altar. You're doing it to the altar, or is it through the altar? Sounds it's like that it's of the altar itself rather than through the altar. I would have understood it to mean through the altar, but the words suggest of the altar. What does the altar need to be cleansed for? A person needs to be cleansed, not the altar. Not, it's not so clear. Follow my question? Yeah, because the words say purified the altar, right? So,
during the work,
huh?
someone wrote something impure on it, it need to be cleaned in order to atone people. During the work, there are some.
Then maybe it became impurified, right? Okay.
Because he said you have to make atonement on it from now on.
Uh-huh. Okay. Maybe, I guess, maybe that sounds good. Okay, bikachehu, and he sanctified it b'avodazu through this service. Now that I get, because through the service, now the altar became sanctified. The same idea is like when you make tefillin, right? They're not sanctified until you put them on, right? By putting them on, that's what you bring the sanctification. It's the same thing here. By doing the service, that's what makes it sanctify the altar. All right. Achaper alav mi'ata kol kaparis, to affect all atonements from now on. So the atonement is not for the altar from now on. The atonement is from now on for any form of atonement that a person who's bringing a sin offering needs, right? That's what the from now on means. Okay. Okay. 16. Yikach is kol ha'chelav, and you should take who's the he over here is Moshe, right? Remember, because he's doing everything on this day, on the inaugural day, to inaugurate the Kohanim and everyone, right? Yikach is kol ha'chelav, and he should take all of the fats, asher ala kerev, that are in the innards of the animal, right, of the bull over here. Yeseris hakaved, and the diaphragm with the liver. Kaved is liver. Veshtei hakloyis, and the two kidneys. Kloyis are kidneys. Ve'chabehem, and their fats around the kidney. V'yaktir Moshe al mizbecha, and Moshe should cause him to go up and smoke on the altar. Hakaved Rashi, right? Rashi on the words on 16. Kaved, ala kaved, that's similar to with the liver. Levada kaved. Right. In other words, the diaphragm of the liver means that which is with the liver, levada kaved, besides the liver. Shahaya neitel, for he would take ma'at mina kaved, a bit of the liver, ima, along with the diaphragm. Okay. 17. There's a par. and now the bull, Vesayre, and its skin, Vesbasara, its flesh, Ves Pirshay, and its waist, Saraf Baish, that is burnt in a fire, Michutz Lamachna, outside of the encampment, Kashetziv Hashem as Moshe, as Hashem had commanded Moshe. Right? That doesn't go onto the altar, right? But it still gets all burnt up in this inaugural, right? And when it's a sin offering, regular, remember this is a sin offering that's being around as an inauguration, right? But a regular sin offering, the Kohanim do eat from it, right? The Yakriv is ayal ha'ila. Okay, now we finish with the bull. Now we're going to bring that he's going to brings near the ayal, the ram, ha'ila, that is a burnt offering. Burnt means it's completely burnt, right? Vismucho aren, meaning completely burnt on the altar. The bull wasn't completely burnt on the altar because some of it was burnt outside of the camp, as we just learned, right? And here too, they're putting on this burnt offering their hands in a strong, forcible way on the head of the ram. And he will slaughter and throw or sprinkle or dash, if you will. Esadam, Moshe will dash the blood alamis be'ach saviv on the altar around, right? Previously, by the sin offering, what did he do? It did it on the four corners, right? This is around the altar. There's an ayal nitach l'sachav, and it will the ayal, which is the ram. Nitach means to cut up l'sachav to pieces. See, it's the same word, same root word. Nitach, right? So when you cut something up, what do you have from it? Pieces. So first it means to cut, and then the second word means pieces, because when you cut something, you have pieces of it, right? V'yaktir Moshe shall make it smoke, es harash, its head, vis nesachim, and its pieces, vis apoder, and the fat will all go up in smoke. Last verse for today, it's short. Ves hakerev vis hakrayim, and the innards and the kroyim, the legs, rachatz b'mayim, he shall wash in water. V'yaktir Moshe is an aisle, kol aisle, and Moshe makes smoke up the entire aisle, the entire ram, hamizbecha, on the altar. Who? It is a burnt offering. L'reach nichayach, for a pleasing fragrance. Ishehu, a fire offering it is, la Hashem, to God. Kasher tziva, as Moshe, kasher tziva, sorry, rather as commanded, Hashem, as Hashem commanded, is Moshe, to Moshe. Got it? Let's see if we have some sichas from the Rebbe over here. No. Nothing from today. All right. I'll see you shortly. Bye. Tanya.
Thank you, Rabbi.